Okay, I've handed you out this before. You have a paper with it on, but I'll just recap it. Okay, the first question you should ask yourself is,
Does it equal 0?
if there's one variable or two variables. If you have one variable or one type of variable involved, what should you mathematically do?
You have to isolate.
Isolate it.
I knew what it was.
That's it. Just isolate, which is algebra that you're used to, which means move stuff and then divide, right? If you have two variables, such as having an x squared and an x in the equation, those are treated as two different things. What do you need to do? First and foremost, before you even think about any next steps. Then you equal 0. Then you should ask yourself, does it factor? And you look for the strategies of factoring. So you have 4 types that you look for. What are they?
Trinomial, difference of squares, GCN, and complex trinomial. Yeah, complex.
Your 4 are simple trinomials, your difference of squares, your GCF, and your complex trinomials. What if it's not factorable?
You have to put it into the equation.
Then you have the quadratic formula. Okay? You also have a method that we learned called complete the square, which I never would put on here because the formula works. So for me, I personally would always just pick a formula over the complete the square method.
Is there a part where you have to do complete the square in the exam?
Yes.
No, Mackenzie, I never figured it out.
So it is a method, but if I was to ever have a pick, I would just never pick it, but there would be one question on your exam that you have to do. Okay, this branch, those strategies have to be mastered. It's the foundation to everything going forward in your math in grade 12. Okay? So here we go. Number 7 is solve with the quadratic formula. This will be on your formula sheet. So everybody will find a formula sheet on your table. And you're going to go x equals negative b plus minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Okay, we learned some rules about this part. So just the square root part.
You don't have to put in the square, you put in the number.
We had 3 rules. What if we were to find out that that value was positive? How many answers do we get?
2.
2 solutions. What if that number was 0? Then you'll only get 1 solution. What if that value was negative? There would be no solutions. So a visual, a quadratic could have 2 answers. A quadratic could have just 1 solution, and it's definitely possible for a quadratic to have no solutions. So these solutions are the x-intercepts of the graph. The x-intercepts of the graph. It's making y 0. That's what's happening, right? Okay, got that all down? So those are the big ideas with the formula. That's what we talked about. So use the formula to solve. So I'm going to go x equals. So everyone has the formula because I took it off my screen, but you all have it on your paper. Yeah. Negative b. Again, when you see the negative, just think opposite. So opposite of the b, 9. Plus or minus the square root of b squared. I really just want you to write the square root of it right away. What happens when you square negative 9? Positive 81. That's always positive. And the people who don't do this, just writing 81, I get so many errors like that, and then all of a sudden they put a negative 81 into it. That's the big mistake there. Minus 4 bracket negative 5. All over 2 bracket 4. Okay, I need you to get me just this in your calculator. Just type 81. Subtract.
I will give you mine, it's horrendous to use.
Did anybody get 161?
Yeah.
How many answers will this have? 2.
When you're done, can I just try the practice?
Mackenzie, just grab. 9 plus root 161 divided by 8. Okay? That's how I'm going to type it into my calculator, and it's got brackets on it. 9 plus root 161 divided by 8, and then I'm going to retype with a minus sign. Okay? This is a very calculator-based question, so making sure you are doing your steps right.
What the heck?
Shoot Marut. Oops. Okay, everybody's agreeing with those answers? Anybody who is not getting that on their calculator that wants me to come figure out what they're typing in differently? Okay. I feel like I should have given you a harder question, but I sometimes try to trick you in writing an equation awkwardly. So what if I wrote an equation, so pretend you didn't see that one below. So if I ever wrote you something like this, would you understand to use the formula? You have to get them all on one side. Yeah. Or I could have wrote you something like this. What if I wrote you an equation like that? Would you understand it? the A, the B, and the C. Do you understand what you're looking for? I might not put it in the order you want. I might not have it all on the same side, so you might have to maneuver it before going into the formula, right? So don't just look and start taking the first, second, and third things. Look at which one is the A. Okay, so opposite of the B, positive 6, plus minus root of, please just square it, 36. That's always positive. No matter what you're squaring, it's positive. Always positive. Minus 4AC. All over 2 times the A. Can you get me just that number? I just typed in the yellow part and I got a negative 52.
Yeah.
Now what?
Write it out in one place.
I instantly am jumping to no conclusion, no solution. Okay? The rules state if that's going to be negative, there's going to be no solutions. Obviously, if you forget and you're starting to run it through your calculator is going to say error, right? Okay, number 8. Do you have more than one variable? Yes. Equals 0. Check. Okay, next on my, right? More than one variable. Equals 0. Check. Factor question mark. Is it one of the styles? GCF. Can you take something out? Okay, now you're actually going to factor a second time. This should be a simple trinomial. Can you think of anything that multiplies to 60? And we'll make a 4.
10 and 6. Negative 10?
10 and the 6 would make a 4 somehow. So you actually have 3 solutions here. Question B. 1 or 2 variables. 2 variables equals 0. Check. Can I factor it? GCF. What if I ever made you, on your exam, connect a drawing to that? Could you draw me a sketch of what that even means?
I could try.
What does that mean as a sketch?
Oh, not just 2 straight up and down lines on 0 and 7.
Couldn't it intersect at 0?
Ah.
It means your quadratic function will have an x-intercept at 0 and at 7. That's what it means, right? Okay, 2 variables, check equals 0. Factoring. Complex trinomial. Okay, so my first step is to FLA. The 2 at the front times the negative 15 in the last makes negative 30. I'm going to write down all the things that multiply to 30. One times 30, 2 times 15, 3 times 10, and 5 times 6. Then I look for a set that will produce a add together of negative 1. 5 and 6, and there's going to be a plus minus involved. Okay, that's what I need. I'm going to now go under F, and I'm going to go under L, and I'm going to think, how could I get the F? How could I get the L? So how could I multiply to 2x squared? 1x times 2x, that's the end of that. How could I multiply to 15? 1 times 15, or 3 times 5. Could I connect any puzzle pieces, groupings together? I need to put something with something to make a 5, and something with something to make a 6. I'm going to put circles and boxes on my sets. Now I'm going to start my brackets, so I'm going to put 1x and 2x in there. Then I'm going to draw my 2 rainbows. I already marked this down. I wanted the 1x to go with a 5. So I make sure they're connected on a rainbow with a plus. And then the 2x with the 3 on the rainbow. Please make sure, if you are not 100% sure, or anybody could do this, but FOIL it out. You're good at multiplying it. So just FOIL it out. Does it make your original? Okay, so this one is x equals 3. And this one is going to be some kind of fraction. Do you remember? Negative 5 over 2. Okay? Okay, D, algebra branch, where are we? We're one variable, so we're going to isolate one variable. There's only one variable in that. So let's get it alone. So what do I have to do first? Minus the 2. Times it by 3. Subtract 1. Divide by 2. And square root it. What is your answer?
2. Positive or negative 2.
Positive or negative 2.
Why did he do that?
Okay, it's a pretty big deal to forget because this quadratic hits at negative 2 and positive 2. It's a big deal if you forget the plus minus, right? Okay. Question E. So algebra branch that I've memorized, and every single time I think, where am I going? Do I have 1 or 2 variables? 2 equals 0 is my first checkpoint.
It does not.
It doesn't. So we're going to Subtract 18. Then factor question mark which style?
Simple.
Simple trinomial, so m and m. 6 times 3? Okay, I don't have any examples of complete the square because I think on my COVID exam I didn't do it, but we're doing it, so. What's on the very, very back of your whole exam review? Is it a blank page?
2 grams.
Let me the bottom?
Yeah, it's absolutely.
Okay, go to the very, very, very back of your booklet. And then at the bottom half, it should be kind of blank, right? The whole booklet. So you guys have this on the top of your back page, the last page. So just go to the blank part. So complete the square. Okay. Would we all agree that this would never be able to factor? Can you multiply something to 1 and add it to -6? No. Okay. Step 1. Move this number over. Step 2.
I'll do that.
You are wanting to make your own trinomial. Okay? This is going to be a perfect squared trinomial. So what do I have to end it with? Do you remember? I take this and do something and something. 2 things. Divide it by 2. And then you square it, which makes a always plus, right? Always plus. Doesn't matter what you're doing, it's always plus. What do I have to do in math?
Add the 1 now.
What happened to my equation? I teeter-tottered it. So I need to balance it out. Okay, this was something I threw on there. It didn't exist. Okay, you need to turn that trinomial into a perfect square.
X.
Right? Can you visualize yourself foiling this?
Because yeah, you gotta add the other down.
Can you visualize the FOIL of that? Minus 3x minus 3x, check, minus 6x. Minus 3 times minus 3 is the 9. Equals 8.
Now do we square root it or no? It's a different square.
Okay, now I need to square root it. Plus minus square root of 8, because I can't square root 8 nicely. This is why it wasn't factorable, right? If that was a nice, like 64 or 36 or 49, it would have meant my original would have been factorable. So x equals plus minus root 8 plus 3. No, it's outside. It's the after. Okay, can we type this into the calculator and see what we get as a decimal? And then we're actually going to check our answer with the quadratic formula. So go plus root 8 plus 3 and negative root 8 plus 3. That would be as a decimal value.
5.8. But can we leave it as the other way you had it? Or do you want decimal?
Yes, as an answer, I want this. But we're going to check our answer, and we're going to use the quadratic formula to check our answer.
I like mine. You would hate mine.
Okay, you ready? Checking the answer. X equals negative b. So negative b is positive 6 plus minus the square root of b squared, 36, subtract 4 bracket 1 bracket 1 over 2 bracket 1. Did you get the square root of 32? Okay, what do we think? Tell me if you get the matchup of our decimals that we got on our other one. We were supposed to get a 5.83. It matches. Look at that. See, that's why I said if you ever had to pick, I would assume the formula would be easier for most people. But somewhere on your exam, I have something with a complete the square. And I think we're going to do one more example.
It clicks a little bit more right now.
Okay, everyone's good? You found out that when you did the formula it matched?
Yeah, I think that changed it.
Okay, so this is also a complete the square question. If you are in general form and need to change it to standard form.
Do we have to write that down?
Yeah, this is an example I would like you to do. Changing the form. So we did this one in the first unit actually. Okay, the only difference here is that there's a y involved, and the last time y was 0, so it was a number. This time y is not a number, so it's still just going to be a y. Okay, first step is to remove the last number. You want to put your own number in there. Right? You want to make your trinomial.
Is 16?
It would be on that blank, needs to be a 16, yep.
Plus 16?
Plus 16, everyone found how to do that? Divide by 2, square. Plus 16, which means my teeter-totter, I have to add 16. Then this becomes y plus 6 and this becomes a perfect square. X subtract 4, which means I can restate my vertex is what? 4, negative 6 is the vertex. So move the last term over, put your own last term in by doing a divide by 2 square. Okay, balance it out and write it as a perfect square.